Hello, welcome to another video of mine on my attempt to reach 2400. This video is going to be a little bit different. I am going to be playing in a small tournament, which is 5+3, so very close to my previous video's kind of ideal 5+4 Blitz speed. This will probably be in two videos because the tournament's an hour and a half, and generally I find that sort of 45-minute videos are a good length for people who watch this watch this channel. So I am going to mostly probably be playing these three players, although I have a suspicion that maybe 10 minutes into the event a bunch of other players will join this, because normally there's more than just 4 people, usually around 15 to 20. Anyway, with 8 seconds to go before the event starts, wish me luck, I guess. Let's see if I can get my rating up. And 4 people, so that means that there'll just be 2 games. Hopefully it will start any second. Ah, perfect. I just can't be reached. Wonderful. Okay, here we go. Right, Los Angelusa. I do not want to berserk. Normally I do berserk in like rapid play kind of events, but here I'm going to be a little bit more careful because, as you've seen, my time management using this laptop is not the best. Alright, so they're playing a Sicilian. I should probably just take them without messing around. Then play knight f6, just getting an okay position. Knight c3 mainline move. I'm going to try something different today. Let's try e5, going into the sort of mainline, I think, Shveznikov theory. So I might have got the name wrong, I know what the moves are. So d6, stops knight d6. Bishop g5 is the main move, usually, and then I think a6 is generally preferred by top-level players. Knight a3 and then b5. That's why I play a4 instead of bishop g5, because I don't like this for white. But, you know, I'm probably wrong. Okay, takes. I'm going to try the, I think it was Ivanchuk who first kind of popularised pawn takes. Knight d5 is naturally the move they're going to play. And bishop e6, I think, is the main line move these days, but f5 is always a bit of fun. Then, oh, c3. Okay, I was thinking bishop d3 was more common. Alright, bishop e6. Alright, let's try bishop g7 instead. This move, if they take my pawn, which they do, I can then take and not lose a tempo. Right, let's see what they're doing. Knight c2. So their idea is to go knight to e3. I'm actually going to castle, because it's probably a safety kind of move. Knight to e3, yeah, hitting the bishop. Then, okay, let's just be careful. Bishop e6, looks like a safety kind of move. Again, bishop d3, so now it's again kind of a King's Indian style with f5. Black's got central control, but white has a safer king normally. Wow, queen h5. This move is attempting to pressurize me. It's attacking f5. I was looking at queen d7, which would be a good defense. But actually, e4 might be quite fun. And then when the bishop moves back, knight to e5 could be interesting. Or knight to e7, I don't know. One move or the other. I could even go f4 if I wanted. Oh, but then yeah, bishop takes e4, no, forget that. Yeah, I'm going to play e4. It's a bit dangerous because it's a pawn move. But the idea behind it is that when they play bishop there, so either knight e5 or knight to e7. It's one or the other. Let's see. Knight e5 looks more active. They castle queenside. They've still got that annoying knight. No, I'm going to get rid of it. I want to get rid of their knights. They're just too good. Very annoying. Now, castles is probably correct from white, would be my guess. And then I think I can just take their knight on d5. And maybe my troubles will be over. Let's see, what is he or she going to play? Rook d1, okay, that's a good move. I suspect they want to castle kingside. Right, get rid of their knight. It's too good. Now, do I want to get rid of the other knight? That's the big question. I don't know, I do like the bishop pair, that's the thing. Queen e8 might be interesting. Oh, but then they... Oh, no, forget that. Then they have queen takes queen, rook takes, knight c7, rook e7, knight takes bishop, rook takes, bishop b3 with a pin on my piece. Alright, let's see. Rook c8 might be okay. Yeah, rook c8 looks okay. Let's do rook c8. I just need to make sure knight e7 doesn't ever come with some big attack. Right, now queen e8 might be better. Because this stops knight c7 in that variation I was looking at, where they end up taking my bishop with their knight and then playing bishop b3 with a pin on my king. Trading queens, and again, it doesn't matter what opening I seem to play, I always seem to go queen e8 at some point. I'm not intending to do that from the beginning, but it just seems to be the way it works out. I'm a bit worse on time, I'm like a minute down, but I've been having difficult positions. Queen h4. Alright, let's improve pieces. Queen c6 might be okay, but then knight e7. Knight e7's a threat anyway, actually. I didn't even see that for a second. Right, king h8, let's get out of the way. Knight f4. Then I should do something. Bishop f7 maybe? Oh no, I'm losing d6. Bishop e5? Yeah, let's do bishop e5. This move does potentially trade the bishop pair off, but I do seem to have an okay position with my pieces, and maybe a slight initiative on their king, so it does potentially give me chances here. Difficult. I've removed queen takes e6, by the way, because I don't think there'll be a better move than taking back. Yeah, they have taken it. Right, bishop b3 attacks me, that makes sense. I don't really want to trade queens, but queen f6 does look interesting. Trouble is that they have f4 after all of this. So queen f6 takes, let's say they take it, rook takes, f4, en passant, rook takes. I've got an anchored bishop, so that's not so bad actually. Yeah, I'm going to offer the trade of queens just so I can solidify. Then I don't quite want to pre-move this turn because it potentially could lead to disaster. But also rook g8 wasn't playable, so this... oh, okay, they've done f4. I should have pre-moved. Alright, so takes. And let's get my king active. It's an ending. So king g7 must be quite good. Yeah, the one problem I have is that pawn's a little bit vulnerable. Now, should I let it go and go into a drawn ending, or should I hold it together with rook f8? Oh, actually, I could play rook c5. I'm certain they won't fall for it, but it looks fun. Rook c5. My threat is that if they take the pawn twice on f5, I will then play bishop takes h2 check and have a discovered attack on their rook on f5 at the end. So I suspect they'll play something like king h1 or g3 or so some other move which will prevent it. Although if g3, I still have that threat with bishop d4 check. So they still can't take on f5. Therefore, I should probably try a minority attack. I should try probably a5 and then maybe a4 or b4, attempting to weaken their pawns on the queen side. And that would potentially kind of even out the game, because I do have a slightly worse pawn structure. I've got, 3 isolated pawns and 4 pawn islands, and they've got 0 isolated pawns and 2 pawn islands. So by trading a lot of pawns, this will help me. Right, they've done this move. f4 is definitely an option. That blocks on my bishop a lot, though. b4 looks interesting. So b4, bishop takes f5, takes c3, takes c3, takes c3. Yeah, I should be okay. So this is a sort of attempt to try and level it. Yeah, bishop takes c3, and then do I take with the rook or the bishop? I'm not sure which one. I don't really know, so I'm going to take with the rook. Just try and trade pieces. Looks like a very level game. Pre-move captures, just to gain a bit more time. Now, what do they do here? We've got 3 pawns each, so it's less likely that I'm going to mess everything up. Although, you never know. I could always mess things up pretty quickly. They could try something like g4, trying to gain space, and I say it, they do it, apparently. Right, let's try and push my own pawn, d5. And then if rook b1, okay, they haven't played that. King f2 has been played. Alright, d4 is an option, but it blocks in my bishop, so I'm going to try rook b6 with rook b2 check. It's a very, very minor threat. I doubt they'll fall for it, but it does add a little bit of pressure to them. It gives me king f6 if I need to in the future. And I'm a little bit a little bit concerned about my time. I know I have 2 minutes, but I don't need to be putting myself in a position that's unenviable. King f3, right. So rook b2, I suspect a draw. I'm assuming rook f2 and then I off the draw. And off the draw. And they took it, wonderful. Okay. So I didn't really feel like playing out bishop and pawn ending, opposite colored bishops in that scenario. So I'm on 1 point, that's fine. Music Knight is on 2 points. He must have won his game. He's a pretty good player at Blitz. So I might play him in a moment. And hopefully I didn't lose too many raising points with that draw. It appears that I lost 1, I think, because I think I was 23-21 at the start. I'm now 23-20. So Los Angelusa has managed to get a draw off me, so that's fine. That's all right. Now there's 8 people. As I said, there should be hopefully more coming along. My System. I love that name. That's a homage to Aaron Nimzovich's book, My System, M-Y and then System. I like the name. It's a good name. All right, so they've tricked me into playing a Caro-Kann, which I don't like too much. I am going to do this knight d2 variation to kind of keep everything going. Yeah, bishop f5. Let's try this system, knight c5. It's a sideline that I read about years ago, and if they go wrong, things can very quickly be good for white. So b6, knight b3. Already, I think white has a small advantage from my memory of this, because they've weakened the light squares of the b6 move. Then again, it's hard for me to actually make much progress. So I think I can't remember if bishop d3 is the right move, but I don't like it. Let's do bishop g5. Bishop e7, yeah. And do I go c4 or c3? I'm not sure yet. So bishop e2, just playing it safe. They castle. I think I should probably castle on the same side just to be safe. Knight bd7, yeah. Alright, let's charge them. c4. Now, I mean, my d4 pawn is potentially a little bit weak because there's no way I can ever defend it with a pawn. But I found that it's very hard for black to play this kind of position. So, line up with their queen using my rook. Now d5 has a bit of a sting to it. Looks quite effective. And their c-pawn is less guarded. Trouble is, I'm a little bit kind of restrained by that bishop. It's annoying. I'm a bit restrained by the f5 bishop. Alright, fine. Bishop d3. I'll let them trade. In fact, pre-move. Queen takes, because I have to take. No other move. Alright, so basically I've got the slightly weak d4 pawn. They've got a slightly weak c6 pawn. So d4 is easier for them to attack because it's in the center, but then again I'm gaining space, so it's a two-way street. They do have things like knight to e5 with tricks, but I think I can take with my knight and I should be fine. c5 is quite a critical line. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I should take them or just drop around with the queen to like e3 or something, or rook d1. Not totally sure what to do. Knight f8's been chosen. So rook fd1 maybe? Yeah, I'm going to try this, rook fd1. So the idea is to play queen e2 and then have my rooks and queen all on the c, d, e files. I'm not totally sure what to do with the rest of my pieces, but I'm sure they'll come up with something. Knight to e5 is also more appealing, because earlier if I'd have played it, they take with their queen. I take with the pawn, then their rook takes my queen, and I might lose material. Knight g6, yeah, it looks like a reasonable move. Queen c2 or e2, I think. e2 does allow knight f5. So maybe queen c2, knight f4, I mean. So queen c2 stops them gaining a tempo. Doesn't make it quite as fun to line up with their queen with the rook, but I'll survive. Also, if they push c5, this now looks a bit dangerous for them because I can have a queenside majority. And I've already got pieces kind of focused on the queen side. See, bishop f8 is like a safety move. h6 is not entirely what I was expecting. Alright, well, bishop d2 looks way too passive, so bishop e3 looks like the sensible move. Knight g4 does gain the bishop pair, but I'm not totally unhappy with this because he doesn't have the bishop pair either. So this plan doesn't seem to work too well. And my knight on b3 is actually not that good. It can't really jump forwards. It's being dominated by their b6 pawn. So I've got a plan of playing knight d2, possibly to f1 or e4, depending on how they approach. And, okay, rook d7, yeah, doubling up. Can I push d5? That's the big question. I don't think I can. Can I push c5? Doesn't look so good because of b5. I don't think I can push, so I think knight to... yeah, possibly knight d2, rook a d8. I'm going to play it anyway because I don't see how to improve pieces otherwise. Rook a d8 looks pretty sensible. And then knight e4 or knight f1. Probably knight e4 looks more interesting. And I can now play my b pawn up with like b3 or a3 b4 or something. Knight g4 is their chosen move. Alright, so knight f1. That way, if they take my bishop, I have the option of taking with my knight. Also, it guards h2 against possible mates. I'm going to play knight takes. I don't really want to weaken my king side. My f-pawn should stay where it is, I think. They do have knight f4, but I always have g3 if everything else. So I'm going to cut out their options. g3 stops knight f4. It just is a safety move. Okay, I've got a bit more time than mice. That's good for me. Still got the queenside majority, 4 against 3 on the A to D files. But this is the trouble. Black has this constant target on d4. So if I play b3, he's got enough to take me. d5, I think I just lose a pawn, so the only ways to guard it is queen to e4. Now, how should I approach? Again, this d5 move is always a break that I have to consider. But potentially knight to e5 might be good next turn. If we give black some move like king h8 or whatever. Knight to e5, they take it, I take it. Oh, but of course I got a knight defending. They've got a knight on g6 that can take me. I just saw that. So they have too many pieces attacking e5 for me to be able to play it. Maybe I do just play something like b3, just kind of solidifying on the queen side. And at the moment on the standings, Los Angelusa is on 3. He's managed to win a game. They've done queen d6. Alright, so does c5 do anything? They can't go b5 now, that's the point. I don't know, it might weaken them a little, so let's do c5. Now, normally, you don't really want to do this because they can play knight to d5, but here their knight's going to take a long time to come round. Queen d5 is obviously horrible. So queen e7 or queen c7. Maybe I can do knight c4 to d6 as well, and also take on b6 and take the c-pawn. Oh, it took me. Wow. Okay, they took me. Do I take with the pawn? Then queen back. Rook takes. I don't know. Maybe I don't quite have enough actually. Well, I can't change my mind now, can I? It's either rook takes or takes. My d pawn is just so weak that I'm going to have to get rid of it. D takes. Maybe trying to get their c pawn was better, but I don't like that d pawn. It's so vulnerable. So now, right, let's take their rook first, because if I allow them to take me twice, my knight will go to d1, which will look very bad. I'm going to try charging my queenside majority up the board. 3 against 2. They've got weak isolated pawns. That could be useful. I've got knight c4 to d6 again, or c4 to a5, as a way to pressurize. Black should probably be focusing on the queen side now with moves like maybe knight e7 to d5. Knight e5, interesting. Alright, well I'm better in the ending no matter what, so I'll take them. If I take with the queen, I'll probably just take the queen. Oh, actually no, I take c6, don't I? I'll take with the bishop. Then, do I want to trade? Just wondering, yeah, knight... Oh, wow, they took with the queen. Okay, well, let's take the gift of the pawn. Rook d2. Ooh, I didn't see that. Alright, rook d2, let's see. Knight c4. I don't see what's wrong with that idea. I just don't see it. Alright, knight c4. Queen d5, then queen e8 check. That's what I'm thinking. It seems to work. I don't believe they should have enough attack here. I've got a defended king. Their bishop actually is the wrong colour. If it was, say, on f5, it would be a lot stronger. Yeah, queen d5, then queen e8 check, and then take their rook, I think. I have to be a little bit careful not to allow anything silly. So maybe just rook f1. That way I'm definitely safe. No, dear, I just thought rook b1 would be a lot better because I would save the b pawn. That was probably an error. Alright, never mind. Oh, they've done h5. Okay, passed pawns must be pushed. c6. Then if queen, I don't know, queen d6. Oh, okay, have to be a little bit careful. c7, h3, c8, queen. I don't see what they're doing. c7. If they take me, I just take with the h-pawn. There's no reason to open up lines to my king. Taking with the f-pawn allows bishop d4 check. h3, okay. Queen. Just have to make sure that there's no mates. Queen d5 is, I suspect, the move they're going to do. Oh, they do. Oh, wow, okay. Take here, check. Looks pretty winning. Actually, I've got a nasty little move. I'm sure this is not the right one. And I'm not going to take a draw from my opponent. So that was quite a nice win. I had the idea of queen c1 at the end, which was going to trade the queens if they went king h6. Alright, cool. So I'm now joint leader with Los Angelusa. That's good for me. He won his game first, though, so he's probably going to end up scoring more points than me if things keep going this way. Now, I think that Music Nice and Hope Chess CL are also contenders. They're both above 2,000. They're reasonable players. I think I gained 2 points from that win, by the way. So 23-22. I'm living the dream, slowly going up to 2,400 in about 40 more games. Mr. Mayhem's playing Los Angelusa right now. It looks like it's an interesting game. Alright, I'm playing Hope Chess. All right, I'll try not to play a Sicilian so that I don't have to play Queen e8. Oh, wow. They are playing a From Gambit. Okay, From Gambit time. They're playing a Bird's Opening. This is a little bit unorthodox. It's a kind of almost like a Dutch as white, where you gain the tempo. You can play if you can play e4 along with f4, you're generally better as white, or at least equal. So they're not accepting the gambit. That's a bit mean of them. All right, well, okay, fine. I'll take it. They'll take with the bishop, and then I have maybe d5, just trying to stop e4. Then they'll have an isolated king's pawn, which is extremely rare. Probably not very good. Alright, bishop d6. I'm aiming just to trade pieces and keep things simple. Oh, queen d2. Okay, I didn't see that move. Alright, yeah, good move. Knight f6. I don't want to trade their pieces where it will help them. So again, I'm pre-moving queen takes, because that must be right. Knight c3. Okay, I'm going to castle. Now they could maybe play e4, but they've castled instead. Could I go c5? Is that any good? Maybe c5's best. But again, piece development is key. So knight c6 may not be right, but it looks interesting. Right, so again, let's pre-move queen takes bishop. Oh, bishop g5. Wow. Okay, redeploying the bishop. Good move. All right, piece development again. Bishop somewhere. Bishop f4, f5. I mean, does it allows knight takes d5. Whoops! I have to play bishop e6. All right, this is all right. I've still got good piece development. I think their bishop on f1 is a lot worse than any of my minor pieces. This nasty little pin is somewhat frustrating. I'll have to find a way out if I want to do anything. Maybe I move my knight on c6 and then go pawn c6 and queen a5 at the right moment, going for some sort of queenside attack in a Sicilian style, as they're still embodying the Sicilian hopes. All right, let's gain time, gain a bit of pressure with d4. It prevents e4 because of the en passant rule. Now knight to e4, I think I can actually trade off on e4, give them a horrible structure. And if they take my queen, I'll take their queen. No, they take with the pawn. Okay, I'm going to break my rule. Never play f6. I'm going to play it here. Now bishop, I don't know, h4 probably is correct. And I'm going to play risky here. Can I take here? If they play b3, attempting to trap my queen in the coffin, I have bishop a3 mate. So I'm playing a bit dangerously, but I've got reason to play it. e3 is probably correct. Then I will trade on e3, and queen e8 might amusingly be quite a good move, but I'm going to play queen e7 if they do that, just so I don't have to play queen e8 again. Right. Queen e7 looks pretty solid. Queen f7 is the idea. Again, queen e8 might have actually been better, because it gives me more options of knight e7 or bishop e7, but I'm not going to play queen e8 for like the 12th time as black. I've got e4 in my sights. g5, wow, that is brave. Okay, let's go for it. Queen takes. If they take on f6, I have bishop f4. With advantage, pinning them. And queen d3, I still have bishop f4. Could be disastrous for white. Don't know what they're going to do. Bishop f4 just looks so strong. And again, b3 allows mate in 1, and if they move their c-pawn, queen b1 is mate in 1. So they're paralysed, they can't do anything. Bishop f2 might be the best move. And then bishop f4, e3 or something, but it's still not looking good. e3 first, didn't see that. Can I not just take their knight? Yeah, let's go for it, take the knight. Go for it. Win a piece. So I'm playing materialistically. A minute ahead on time. Now it's time to trade off some pieces. Play simple. They took on f6. Ooh, can I play bishop f4? Actually no, let's go e2 first. This just looks really fun. And then bishop f4 is the threat. They nearly get mated. Ah, ruined my fun. Alright, fine. I still have to be a little careful. I'm down to... Ooh, okay, they played that. Can I go rook f1? Oh no, I can't because their bishop's on h4. Yeah, I can't do that. Alright, fine. Bishop's d5 might be an idea I can use. Alright, rook to f5, b3. Okay, time to bring in all the reinforcements. Knight d4, king b2, and then rook c8, I think. And I'm guessing a big attack. I am losing the bishop, but the plan is to just get the passed pawn up the board. Oh, I played a move I didn't see. Ooh, but I saved the bishop. Bishop takes b3. Bishop d5. I can't be bothered to calculate, so let's just take it. Play a simple move. Rook up, check. Then does a5 work? Oh, they didn't let me do it. Okay. Oh, I have mate in 2, no? Check, and then knight to b3. Yes. Okay, good. So myself and Los Angeles are both on 5 of 5, both doing well. Could just be that me and him end up playing again. There's still another hour and 1 minute left of this tournament, so that will, I suspect, mean that we'll play each other again. That'll be probably the decisive match. Again, I might be speaking too soon. We've only played like 2 or 3 games each, so that means that there's still plenty of games before the end. Probably about another 6 or 7 games, I would expect. But there's only, how many are there? 9 people. One of them is paused at the moment. So really is 8 people at the moment who are actually playing. And 3 games are going. So that means by process of elimination, yeah, the person I just played, Hope Chess CL, is the only other person who hasn't got a game, and as we just played, we'll probably not play again. My rating's up to 23-26, so I've gained 5 points since the start of the tournament. In the Los Angeles game against my system, it's equal on material. My system does have the 2 bishops, but I feel like black has a bit more concentrated forces on the king side. So it's potentially a case of king side versus queen side attacks. But I do like my system's better development, and his queen side thrust with c5 at the opportune moment. So I would give an edge to white in that position. But it's close. It's by no means has one side like got a big advantage or a permanent edge. It could go either way in this kind of middle game. And there is a rating difference of 100 points. In the games online, that doesn't make as much of a difference, I don't think, as in over-the-board chess, which hopefully will be restarted in the UK soon. But it does make some difference. Like there is supposedly going to be a slight difference in quality over like maybe 10 games. So possibly Los Angeles can seize a decisive advantage in the future, but he's having a bit of trouble here. White's got the space advantage. Bishop f1 is not a move I would have thought to play actually, but maybe Queen f2 is the idea, and coming around to the queen side. And this is the trouble with playing in a tournament with less than a dozen people. You have to sit around sometimes waiting for a game to finish, or several games. At the moment, there's obviously Los Angeles versus my system. Jude Deadman, Mr. Mayhem. The 2100 you would think would win, but it again online it doesn't matter quite as much. And then US 255 versus Music Knight. Again, Music Knight is the player you would give the edge to because of his rating, but in any individual game that may not matter as much. So if I hover my mouse over a player, it would normally show the board, but for some reason it's not showing it in the right place. Yeah, I can't see I can't see any of black's pieces. That might mean that white is winning if there's only a black king that's hidden from view. Yeah, okay, I can't work that out. What about Jude the Deadman? Is it showing me a better size of the board? Doesn't appear to be. Try it one more time. No, it's not. I'd have to actually click on the game, and I'm slightly loath to do that just because of the fact that if I go into a game, sometimes not on live chess actually, but on various chess sites, there's occasionally some error where it will auto resign you or something if you start a new game and then go on to someone else's. So I'll be able to watch the number 1 game apart from my own in this waiting room here. And I'm surprised there's no one else who's finished in the sort of 3 or 4 minutes I've been waiting, because these are Blitz games and there's several going on simultaneously. Right, now it's different. Los Angeles has got the F and E files for their pieces. White's queenside attack seems to have stalled. Now black may have an edge. Rook D to E8 may be a good move, and then white has to play bishop F4 or something. Opposite colour bishops, though, that you have to keep in mind. In the middle game, usually the side with the initiative is better, or significantly better with opposite bishops. But again, as more pieces get traded, it becomes more and more drawish. So a draw is potentially going to happen if neither side can crash through in maybe the next 20 moves or so before we get to like an endgame proper with just rooks or the like. The advantage for black is more dynamic than static. It's almost short-term advantage with the tactics. White's advantage is pawn structure. They've got 4 against 3 on the queen side with a good set of pawns. Black has 3 against 2, which is better in like the ratio terms, but they're double pawns. So black can't really force a passed pawn through unless white allows it. So yeah, black's chance of winning is really tied to the fact of them keeping it in the middle game, and white's sort of chance of winning is more end game or late middle game. But those two bishops on the board, opposite colour bishops, do limit white's chances to win if they're not traded in the ending. So a complicated game. A draw might be a fair result. And still no game for me to play. Okay, here we go. Jude Deadman, Mr. Mayhem. Wow, okay, so white's a piece up and has the advantage. I'd definitely give an edge to white. Black's just barely clinging on. Their bishop is stopping e7 check. But now white's attacking the bishop on b7 and the rook simultaneously. Black could do bishop takes, which they have done. Rook takes checks, very nice. This leads to a skewer. Black king goes back to d7. D7. Then white takes the rook, and I think black has to take on f3 because if they take on c7, then rook e7 check would skewer them. Yeah, they have to take on f3. And it's opposite coloured bishops. White's a piece up though. Black has 1 pawn if they take on h5. White should win though with just improving their rook, king, and knight. And I think it's over. Hope chess is right at the beginning of the game. That means, okay, if Hope chess is playing, that should mean that I should have a game in a moment. One dares to dream. Oh, but Music Night's paused. That's why. That's annoying. So when a player pauses, it means that they're usually, I don't know, coming back later. They're going to have coffee or something, or take a break, and that means they don't get paired until they unpause. I generally try not to pause if I can help it, and that means that I'm stuck here for the foreseeable future. I need another game to finish and then to get paired, because there's myself, Mr. Mayhem, Jude the Deadman and Mr. Mayhem are finished. So I should play one of them because they can't play each other. And they haven't paused, hopefully. And after that, hopefully, if I get the game in the next 30 seconds, Lichess sometimes waits a while to confirm all those players are active, and then tries to work out the best pairing based on how many points each player has. When I get that game, and then when I finish it, depending on whether I win, lose, or draw, I'll then end the video. Finally, here we go. Right, Mr. Mayhem. C4, let's play a English opening. B5, playing a kind of Benko style. I'm gonna try to wipe him off the board quickly with this. Now, the Benko style systems do give black initiative on the queen side. So what I'm going to try and do is just place a simple setup, not play anything ridiculous. They're going to probably go d5 here, which I suspected. Now, d3 is quite a nice move. It doesn't give lots of tension in the centre, so their queenside play can be a bit more effective in some ways, but in other ways my small centre lets me kind of manoeuvre more easily. And I'm going to play a slightly bizarre move here, knight to h3. This gives my bishop free rein on the diagonal, and I might play knight to f4 at some point. Again, I wouldn't probably do this in a regular long play game, but in a blitz match, I'm happy to play this experimental move. And I've seen a few very strong players adopt this kind of strategy, and usually not with the pawn on d3 though, because knight d3 sometimes is the move you want to do. So I'm not sure about the move, but it makes it interesting. It makes him think as well. G6 is chosen. This move I'm not entirely sure is the right idea, but let's castle. Get my king safe. Bishop G7. They're attempting a fianchetto and have succeeded. Now Knight C3 cuts off any attack on B2 from their bishop in a discovered attack. C6. Alright, time to start pushing my pawns to make myself look dangerous. Like a sort of big pufferfish. Blow myself up to look scary, and they might not attack me on the queen side as much. My plan is to go b4, b5 at the right moment, but I do need to guard my knight from potential discovered attacks. Unless I can do it straight away with b4. Then they go knight to e4. Oh, but I can sack the exchange. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for this experimental stuff. b4. Knight to e4. Knight takes knight. Bishop takes rook. Knight d6 check. Looks a bit fun. Or I could even go bishop g5 and then hit their bishop on a1. Yeah, it looks fun. Let's try this. If d4 perfect, they block their dark square bishop's diagonal, and they've castled, which looks sensible. b5 maybe? Oh no, they can't do that because my a rook is not very good. Alright, bishop b2 might be safe. Or bishop a3. Actually, bishop a3 is quite a nice move. It threatens b5 with an attack on their rook. And again, knight to e4 is now less effective because of... well, I could take their knight with the pawn if I need to, but knight takes knight, bishop takes, and then like queen takes a1, and their king side is horribly weakened. So knight g4 looks a lot more sensible. And if knight g4, maybe queen b3, where I'm defending everything. Queen c2 also is good. And another reason to play knight h3, which looks ridiculous, is it guards f2. So my rook on f1 can slide across to, say, d1 or c1, and I don't need to worry about like knight g4, queen f6, queen takes f2. And so I've got that good knight there. Right, mayhem is down to 3 minutes. I've got 4.5 or just under. Played rook e8, very sensible move. Alright, queen somewhere. Queen c2. Let's play carefully. Maybe queen b3 is better, but I don't like having it on an potential open file if I play b5. So rook c8 though actually would still prevent me playing b5 because of the open file that could result. Oh well. At least it guards my knight. It connects my rooks. That's what my main goal is here. Keeps an eye on my a4 pawn too, just in case I want to move the knight on c3 in the future. What is black going to do here to improve? Bishop f8 is possible. Rook c8, queen c7, queen b6 are all options for black, improving their pieces. I don't like a pawn move for black here, except for maybe e5, because I don't think their pieces are well coordinated enough to do pawn moves. Alright, so rook fc1 is interesting. Yeah, I'm going to actually fight on the queen side. Potentially rook ac1 is better, because I can then play rook to e1 or d1, or stay on f1 with my f-rook. But I get a feeling that I'm going to fight on the queen side. So I might play rook a b1 or double up on like the a file or something. So I need to keep that a rook where it is for now. b5 is now also a move I can do quite soon. Again, if they go knight g4 attacking me, I'm not really in too much danger because of the h3 knight. It does tie the h3 knight down, but their knight's also tied down on g4 if they put it there. Bishop b7. Right, can I go b5? Rook c8. Still annoying. a5? Queen c7. Knight a4? Yeah, let's try and get light dark squares here. Because they're fighting on the light squares, I should fight on the dark squares. If queen c7, actually knight b5 is quite fun. Then queen b8, knight d4. And I've got some attack on c6. I've got some pressure. So queen d8 might be the best move. Then knight a4 to c5, and I'm still sort of keeping some pressure on the queen side, preventing their bishop on b7 from being used in the fight. I mean, I know that my a1 rook could potentially be weak from their bishop on g7, but again, I'm not overly concerned. They have played queen d4. That queen's too good. I either go knight to a4 or e3. Let's see, e3, queen a7, knight a4, and knight a4 straight away. If they go e5, I go e3 again, queen a7. Or I'd have the option of bishop b2 actually. If they go like rook b8, bishop b2 might be good. Oh no, but they take on b4. All right, I'm going to cut down their options. I'm going to go e3 because it kind of forces his queen to make a decision now. Maybe knight a4 is better and then do e3, but I don't know which one's better. They look about the same. So e3, queen g4 is an option. Queen e5 has been chosen. All right, now that b4 is not being attacked by their queen, I can play bishop b2 with a kind of rejiggering of where I want to put the bishop. Queen b8, they're sort of running around in circles with the queen. Now let's play this knight a4. My rook on a1 is very safe here. That fianchettoed bishop. Knight c5 is an option. Knight b6 is coming as well. They have played rook c8. Can I go knight c5? Yeah, knight c5 looks good. Now if they take with their knight, I could take with the pawn, open up the b file, or take with the queen. I quite like taking with the b pawn actually because it's weak on b4. It's a backward pawn. So take this way, and then maybe I take their knight with the bishop and play d4, and I give up the bishop pair, but I have stuff. So they played bishop there. Bishop takes. Yeah, bishop takes looks good because it seems to give me. I don't know. I guess it gives me a tempo, kind of, sort of, maybe. Right, d4. That gives me a blocked up center where I've got a knight, which is very useful. Now, queen c7, so rook cb1. I'm never going to have that c rook be useful on the closed up c file. Bishop b5 is the move that's a bit annoying, but maybe bishop f1 is going to be good for me. Actually, bishop f1, bishop takes, king takes, rook takes a5, rook takes, queen b2, and I have the open file. Unless I play queen c3 to defend it first. That might make more sense. Queen c3, rook b8 though. Okay, I'm going to be careful actually. I'm going to play queen d2, because queen c3 I'm lined up with their bishop. It's a bit dangerous. So I'm first going to just get my queen out of danger, defend the a-pawn. I suspect rook cb8 is going to happen. No, rook a6 was played. Alright, bishop f1 is probably needed around now. Then I'll take with my king if they take me. If they don't take me, I do have some pressure. They've gone rook b8. Right, take the bishop, they take with their pawn, and then I can blockade on b4 with the knight, I think. So, knight f4, knight d3, knight b3. If they go rook to a8, I can take on b5. So they... Oh, bishop d8. I didn't see that move. Wow. I don't see how I defend the pawn, actually. So, alright, knight d3. Continue with my plan. Rook takes. Rook takes, queen takes, bishop takes. Maybe... I don't know. Maybe I have rook a8? Rook a1, I mean? Difficult decision. Yeah, okay, let's do rook a1. Get the open file. Rook to a8 looks incredibly dangerous for them to play, because I have things like knight b4 to c6, and they have real trouble defending. So bishop c3, rook a6 potentially, or rook a7. Not sure which one's best. Oh, bishop d8 has been chosen. All right, so bishop d8. I could do knight e5 or rook a7. Yeah, I'm going to do rook a7, get the open file, and if b4, I can actually just destroy all their chances with knight takes and then pin them on a8 with the rook. That's probably not the correct idea, but it does just get rid of all their counterplay. Then I have this strong passed c-pawn, which will be an absolute killer, be a monster. Yeah, let's get rid of it. And also, again, bishop against knight, knights are harder to play with rooks. A rook and knight don't usually team up too well. Rook and bishop usually do. So this makes things a lot easier for me. And rook here. If they check me, I'd always have g2 as a safety square. So I have this. Alright, now he's done rook c4. That makes sense. So probably just king f1 maybe, running to d3. I don't really want to move my f-pawn in this scenario. Yeah, let's keep playing. King e2, king f6. Okay, king d2. Let's again prevent their pieces moving. Oh, okay, they've run over. Rook a8. My idea is to play rook a3 to c3. Potentially, I could. Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, king back. Yeah, rook a3. It's a bit of a silly plan, but it does. Oh, king e7. Can I do it? Rook c3. Rook a4. c6. King d8. They make it in time. Okay, fine. Check. I can't actually see what to do. This is a bit difficult. King back to f6. Okay, fine. All right. h4 stops them having a counterplay on the king side. Now, if they... Okay, they're... Oh, good. Okay, lost on time. Perfect. Great, fantastic. I will end the video.